Fuck my life, this is about to be a long one.
The only thing more depressing than the art direction is the technology it's running on. Look at this pop-in, look at these animations. This is absolutely unacceptable.
Sega posted gameplay footage from the upcoming Sonic Frontiers game, and my lord did it look abominable.
Okay, I think this is not good. Not good at all. In almost every core aspect of the game, there's something really shitty here.
Here we go, motherfuckers. Here we go. I'm getting hyped just because of the music about to kick in. Here we go. Here we fucking go.
As we all know, salvation is here, and I'm so fucking behind. From 8 AM, I played 7 hours of Sonic Frontiers for gameplay to be able to make this video, and then started a new save file, which already puts this game on a pedestal of some of Sonic Team's greatest products, but the new save was specifically for streaming, the playthrough on Twitch, links in the description, and on the stream, I saved over my 7 hours worth of gameplay, where I was nearly done with Chaos Island, so that was 7 hours of my life down the shitter, and it took me even longer than I wanted to beat the game. Now that I have, I can finally say that this game is a giant pile of arse! Obviously, I'm fucking joking. But I'm genuinely tempted to make that the title to piss off a lot of people just to be a dickhead. Sonic Team, Sega, you smashed it. And thank you. And also, where the fuck was this absolute banger of a game for the last 10 years? I'm going to be completely honest with everything. As much as I want to get on my knees and suck off this entire game, it's got its issues. But I've said many times, any game that has issues, I can overlook everything so long as the game itself is actually fun, and to say this is the most fun and enjoyment I've gotten out of a Sonic game in 10 years would be a fucking understatement. Finally, we have a game with a good story where Roger Craig Smith was Sonic, and I'm honestly so happy with it, and for him, because it would be a shame if he ended up just being literally the worst Sonic to ever exist. There is a lot here, and I'm sorry with how long this video has taken to make. It's gonna take ages to upload. We start with the prologue animation though. Yeah, this game review begins without the actual game. We are reintroduced to Knuckles though, as the guardian of the Master Emerald. I say that because, like, I was convinced he was sacked for being a shit guardian, but the dialogue here and in the entirety of the game is so much better, and I feel invested and care so much for the characters. Instead of thinking how Eggman is more likely to get bitches than Sonic, a world where that is possible is scary. Eggman should never be able to get more bitches than Sonic. Getting off topic here. We are reminded of the events of Knuckles' tribe though being wiped out by their greed for the power that wasn't theirs. Not just to say, hey, adventure fans, we're talking about that game, so you know you can come like this one. We got some things to say, you know. Now that we mentioned it, you know, you should definitely suck us off. The whole game actually kind of acts as an origin to the Chaos Emeralds, or at least the backstory of how they got to Earth. There are still questions that need answering, but this approach, I'd say, is fucking genius. For years, not even veteran Sonic fans could ever tell you where the Chaos Emeralds came from unless it's the movie versions. You give us a taste of things we know and use it in a way that ends up being completely new. I made a whole video talking about nostalgia being used right and wrong, and this is an instance where it's used right. And Knuckles actually wondering if him being guardian of Angel Island is actually karma for the Echidna trying being dicks is a detail I love so much. And it's a good thought to have as well. Like, it makes sense. Him being forced on that island would definitely feel like a punishment, and not being able to live life how he wants, even though this twat has literally been doing that. But Sonic not having plot holes is like a COD game without racist players. It's something that is brought up later as well in Knuckles' story arc for this game. Another thing done so well, each one of Sonic's friends have their own story arc to their island. There is so much character development in this game. In fact, the only two I'd say who don't get much of it is Sonic and Eggman, but their characters have always been perfect anyway. Then Knuckles is trapped, and on to the opening cutscene. We see Eggman doing his thing and touching up this statue against its will. Eggman's a rape. He uploads an AI in an attempt to, I assume, steal the secrets of the ancients for reasons that do seem very generic for him to do, but honestly become understandable later on. And of course, in classic good Sonic story fashion, Eggman's plan completely backfires on him. That's how you know the story's good. And yeah, Eggman's lost in cyberspace and cut to Sonic and friends, who just so happen to conveniently be coming to the Starfall Islands, which has plenty of access to cyberspace, just at the same time Eggman was there. Isn't that just crazy how well things seem to work out for everyone? Nah, but legit, this is mad timing, or Eggman uploading the AI to cyberspace allowed Tails to track the emeralds, or even cause the emeralds to end up here, because they say they're just searching for the Chaos Emeralds and trying to find out what drew them to the islands. Like, is this reasoning as to why the emeralds have canonically not existed in Sonic since generations, or did they only recently end up here? I'm getting off topic again. Suddenly a wormhole opens up and they're thrown into cyberspace. And the first thing you play is Green Hill. Oh my god, it's the original Sonic stage back again. What? Oh my god, Sega, you just know exactly how to make fans happy. I mean, I can only assume the decision to rely on the past with cyberspace so much is either laziness, and that could be due to Sonic Team devs being screwed and cut down after the failure of Sonic Boom, because of how much has gone into the rest of the game. It would make sense they reused assets for cyberspace to the point you're literally playing stages from the exact past games, because they wanted to make sure that the most time was spent working on the islands, but still wanted boost stages in the game, because I'm all for having the boost stages as a side gimmick this time round. But if the decision was intentional, then it was a terrible idea to do this on purpose when your last game pounded on nostalgia so hard that there literally just isn't any more titty to squeeze the milk from. And Sonic's control in cyberspace is different, and sadly worse, without mods. And it's noticeable in later stages how much of a downgrade the control truly is. However, Sonic's control in 2D is probably the most fun, and a lot of the 2D stages do have really nice design, especially since half of them are reused from good stages in the past. I feel like the reason that Sonic's 2D control is so much more fun is because of the lowest speed and the fact that you have a drop dash now. It feels so much better. The boost makes Sonic shoot up a little bit upwards, and it's always satisfying to hit a boost to go up in case you missed a platform. You can't fly through the air like Forces, but you do still like go in an upwards arc. Plus, the 2D platforming, I'd say, is genuinely just well made. Anyway, moving on to the open world itself. You have a 15-minute tutorial that'll show you all the basics, and thanks to people from playing demos, you'll have the power boost unlocked as soon as you get the new gimmicky move in the game, the convenience loop. This thing allows Sonic to do pretty much whatever the fuck is most convenient in that situation. You want rings? Use the side loop. Want to kill this dick? Use the side loop. Enemies being pussies? Use the side loop. Pile of shit that needs clearing? Use the side loop. Your wife cheated on you and you need to do it back to get revenge? Use the side loop. Also, if you didn't instantly draw a dick with the side loop when you got it, then I might not be the best content creator for you to be watching. I'd say at this point it's like some unwritten rule where as soon as you get the side loop you have to draw a dick. Beating the tutorial gets you a Chaos Emerald, and you are now able to freely explore Kronos Island. And fuck my life, I don't know where to go first. Like, I'm really glad this Asura boss is just right here from the start, because for me, I always make every single wrong decision in life and could not decide on anything to save kids from being kidnapped. And speaking of kidnapping, Sonic is now free to kidnap children in this game as a way to increase his speed and ring capacity by finding the old pedo predatory looking Coco and giving the children to him. Is Sonic even the good guy in this? The loop of the game is simple. You find memory tokens to progress the story, and the only way to get them legit is by exploring everywhere and using the convenience loop. Every new route you find, you will have a memory token somewhere on it which forces you to just run around and explore. I can't tell you how many times I've just been straight up distracted from what I was doing just to go explore something, and I was trying my hardest to speed through the game just to beat it once and be able to make this video. And if for some reason you didn't want to explore a massive open world as Sonic the fucking Hedgehog, you don't have to. As I literally just said, the entire game could probably be beaten just by using the convenience loop to get tokens and keys. To progress, you need memory tokens to unlock cutscenes that'll keep the story going, and keys just to get the Chaos Emeralds. The only reason you need the portal gears is to get the keys in the first place through cyberspace, but you don't actually need cyberspace. Getting 6 emeralds on each island will lead you to the final boss of it, and I'll get to that later. Amy is the main character of Kronos, and I was honestly surprised to find out from watching gameplay demos that Amy is found really close to the beginning, when the story trailer made it look like she was found in the middle of a forest. Freeing Amy will probably be done before you even need to explore to find tokens, because chances are you got enough from the tutorial. Plus, Amy is the cheapest gold digger I have ever seen. Each island you'll need more and more tokens to unlock things, and finding more as fast as possible becomes harder, which is definitely in relation to the size of the islands just getting bigger. Because the bigger the islands, the more platforming they can shove in, which means shoving more tokens in, forcing more exploration. It's a system that's smart and works really well, to be honest. You know, you just had all the fucking people crying like, what the fuck are you supposed to be doing in this world? What the fuck are the point of all these floating things in the sky? This is the point. Exploration. Forced exploration is the point. Also, tokens are needed to just be able to get extra information about stuff either from Sonic's friends or the new villain, Eggman's AI called Sage, who is properly introduced after finding the second Chaos Emerald. She's seen in the background of the saving Amy cutscene, but yeah, the first time you'll see her is in the first cutscene where Sonic is on the islands, just being cryptic as fuck, because this bitch is the most cryptic character I have ever seen in my life, and she didn't fucking need to be. But yeah, each island has its titan, and the one for Kronos is this big, lanky twat called Giganto. Honestly, the names for a lot of these enemies and bosses in this game are just generally stupid or shit, and Giganto is one of them, but that doesn't take anything away from this beast. Yeah, you want to engage people who believe the last 10 years of Sonic have been so boring, just have them fight something really fucking big. Sage in this cutscene is the most hostile you'll ever see her, because she's literally the most hostile and most passive character I've ever seen in a Sonic game, or just any game for anything. Anyway, Sonic tries to fight the bastard and realizes he ain't shit and gets yeeted back to Sonic Forces. Now, I remember before the game, so many people said Sonic has amnesia in this game, and I remember seeing this cutscene for the first time from some demo gameplay that was recorded in potato quality, so I just was thinking that this is where he suffered memory loss from this attack. But I don't know where the idea of amnesia came from, because that just isn't a thing anywhere in this game. Sure, Cyberspace is linked to Sonic's memories, but it genuinely didn't need to. I mean, I get why it does later on in the game, but it didn't specifically have to be Sonic's memories. I have an idea for Cyberspace that I think would have been perfect that I want to talk about later. Anyway, from this encounter, the gameplay path opens up. Now it's up to you to progress in whatever way you want. I also love that climbing this tower lets you see Giganto outside the map. It's just a nice little detail. And also, I wonder what he's doing back there.
I jerk off all day!
Anyway, exploring Kronos, you'll find all different types of enemies and bosses, which are all easy enough to take down, although I definitely underestimated some of the Guardians. And now's probably the best time to talk about the skill tree. All over the place, and just playing, Sonic can find these little diamond-shaped orbs that go towards the number in the bottom right of the HUD, which is how many skill points you have. The skill tree is kind of small, but the moves are really expensive, and getting skill points takes a while until you get the ability to do generation-style tricks whenever you go high enough to have sparks around you. However, I have one issue with these tricks, and that is the fact that they are mapped to the left stick. Momentum exists in this game when you use the power boost, because running at full speed off the slightest elevation, you'll be sent higher than whatever the fucking rocket wisp could do. But a lot of the times I flew up while being close to the edge of the map, but don't realize I'm about to die, and I'm also just not fast enough to jump while in the air to stop myself from just spamming tricks and floating off in just one direction. Simple fix would just be make the tricks tied to the D-pad. Job done. At least that way, I feel like you'd have a lot more freedom as you're doing tricks in the air, because it just feels like you're locked in position while you're doing tricks, which just doesn't really feel right. But anyway, on each island, exploring little platforming challenges feels like playing a mini stage, with the end goal being the memory token. Unlocking Chaos Emeralds rewards you with some cutscenes of Eggman in Cyberspace, as he spends most time there and is constantly ordering Sage to try and get him out. Only 4 Chaos Emeralds are in Vault, and 2 can only be gotten if you complete mini story quests related to the Coco, as these little bastards are more involved in the story than I ever would have realized. For Amy, she finds a mother that's lost its children, and another who's horny and looking for another Coco to shag for eternity. For the mother Coco quest, you have to push a herd of Coco towards Amy, as getting close to them makes them roll, but you gotta make sure one of these little shits doesn't get behind you, because then by the time you realize, it'll be too late and you will fail. And completing this quest reveals the Coco are suicidal, because they literally just fucking die? Wait, what? This scene is actually made out to be so sad. Maybe because of the music. You know what? I thought I'll just change the music up to make it even sadder. But also just seeing Sonic and Amy's reaction to it. The Coco are interesting though, because after they have just watched some of these fuckers die, they act like it never happened. My understanding of the Coco is that these are the living embodiments of the ancients' memories, hopes, and dreams. Or at least some of them are. Like, I think this mother was an actual ancient who lost its children and clearly wanted to be reunited with them as its last hope before fully being put to rest. And once that dream has been achieved, no longer exists. At least that's my understanding of it, based on how Sage in the story explains what Cyberspace is. Because Cyberspace is a record of these ancients' memories, hopes, and dreams, so that they could live on after they were gone. That alone is way more interesting than Infinite wanting to beef with Sonic because Shadow upset him. And then later you get another mini quest to clear some weed, because these potheads need to be freed from their drug addictions. First time I did this challenge, I was confused though, because I didn't read the tip properly. Amy just says use the Psyloop, and then I see these big ass target things, so I instantly think to Psyloop them, and doing that got me some points, but then at a certain point they just stopped getting me points because I didn't realize you're supposed to just silence the weeds on the floor. Yes, I'm a fucking moron. That unlocks the other Chaos Emerald, and then the last one will be found on that big ass upside down pyramid, which is a stage within the island. I swear it is so sick to climb this thing, and it was literally the first thing that got my attention when I saw the reveal gameplay. Eventually this little shit finds its true love, and yeah, rub that happy relationship in everyone's face, why don't ya? You know when you see those couples and shit talk being the happiest ever? Meanwhile for you, your entire life, your only Valentine has ever been your right hand hand. At least this one gets what they fucking deserve. I'm joking, I'm happy for other people's happiness. Sometimes. But this scene is a vision from the past that reveals this ancient was running towards its one true love while their home was being destroyed, and right before they die they were able to make it into each other's arms and hold on to each other, and you can tell that shit hurt Amy. It hurts so much to the point the voice actor decides to actually do a good job now.
They were reunited right before the end.
Sorry to take the piss, but I've never heard this much emotion from Amy's voice actor before. At this point, you have 6 emeralds and one final cutscene involving a heartfelt moment with Amy.
I'm not sure what happened, but I know what I saw. A love that transcended time. I believe in that power. When this is over, I want to share that love with the world, even though it may take us far apart.
Before you're able to move on to the last puzzle, which genuinely takes thinking to get past. I don't like it. I'm going to talk about the other puzzles on the islands later on though, because they get a lot more complicated as you go on in islands. But it is now time for the epic showdown, the main event, the thing that ended up being the reason people got this game in the first place for. It's time to face off against Giganto again, and I love how confident Sonic is this time, knowing that he's got 6 emeralds, even though he has no idea the 7th one is on Giganto's head, but who gives a shit. I also just love the moment Sonic jumps over the waterfall and the ominous sound plays while panning to that pathway. Mainly because even though you know what you're up against, if you haven't been spoiled yet, you don't know what the fuck to expect right now. In the boss arena, you have to get to Giganto and climb the lanky munter's head, using the blue rings that was found on Asura to get up, and once you reach his head, that feeling you get for the first time is unexplainable. The last 10 years of Sonic games, and only one ended with a supersonic fight, and that was dog shit. So much time and waiting has led to this moment, and as the music kicks in, this game turns into a fucking movie. I'm talking Avengers final battle levels of epic. As you know, there is only one thing to do now. Fuck him up. Supersonic has never been so fun until now because of the combat system the game has. This entire fight is just perfect. Kind of. You're supersonic, you're hyped, and all you can do is batter the ever-living shit out of this prick that yeeted you to another universe before. Everyone has that one person in life they just dream of battering. Just imagine the boss in front of you is that person as you unleash your power. There is barely any strategy to this fight. Just keep fucking wailing on him, and then when you see he's about to do an attack, hold the parry button and then press whatever button prompt comes up to do the Grand Slam attack, which will be a fucking powerful counter. But fuck me, the music. Mate, it should be illegal for the music of a game's first boss to be this amazing. I have not stopped listening to this track. In fact, you know what? That's bullshit. I haven't stopped listening to the entire soundtrack for this game since it came out. It is perfect. You have every move from the skill tree, but everything is faster and 10 times stronger. You can even side-loop him. Like, the fucking irony of this. This prick fucking sent you flying before, and now you can do it back to him. Eventually, the lanky prick gets sick of being bullied and grows lasers all over his back, which does nothing but mean that sometimes he shoots a big-ass laser out of his mouth that you need to spam whatever button tells you to. The thing is, this fight isn't perfect. It is really messy, but with the music and the fact that all you can do is beat the little bitch out of this guy, I couldn't give a fuck if I just found out I had cancer. This fight is literally just so good, especially because at this rate it's probably been like what, 2 or 3 hours leading to this, and this feels like the end of the game, but it's not. This is just the first boss. Sonic peaks in this one boss battle. The fact that this is not technically flawless is what actually helps make it so fun, because sometimes, lads, a game's technical flaws can be its strength. Just look at Sonic Adventure speedrunning. Look at Speed Highway speedruns. The fact that you can go off course in the ways that you can that are unintentional is what makes that stage so good. I prefer waiting for nighttime as well to do this boss because it just looks so much cooler. But sadly, all good things have to come to an end as you eventually put this thing out of its misery. And you will not be judged if you also just leave it alone after finishing its health bar just to listen to the tune more. Also, I decided to just wait to see what actually happens if you run out of rings. And turns out Sonic just gets straight up eaten. Fuck. But then when you're ready, Sonic finishes it the same way he did Dark Gaia. You know, that boss that literally does not have shit on this. Killing the Titan, Sonic gets a quick vision of an ancient spewing some bollocks. That means nothing for now, and I forgot to mention the Jesus voice as well. Throughout the game, Sonic is guided by a voice that I'm going to call Jesus because they didn't have a name yet, so. And at this point, Sonic is being told to go to Ares Island, leaving Amy for now, and it was at this moment I learnt the horrible truth about this game. You can't replay any of the bosses. You have to start a new save file and play for 3 hours again just to get another go. My advice, lads, is if you haven't played this game yet, before you get to the waterfall or before you enter any of the boss fights, save your game in one file, and then after the boss, save the current game to another file, and then you have 2 save files, one where you can replay this boss whenever you want, and never progress onto another island, and just keep backing out to the title before saving. I did this for Smash Ultimate so I can play as Master Hand whenever I feel like it. And now, for the sake of my own sanity, I'm ending this part of the review here because it has been so long and I've only gotten through one island. There's more coming, I promise. So to see it, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. You're getting closer and closer to 1,000 subscribers every day. I can't thank you enough for the support I get. It is honestly stupid. But I love you all. And cheers, lads. And until the next time, have a good one.